folks. Welcome to the 2022 Hart Softball Conference's virtual media day. I'm your host, Chris Kamler. We're going to head down to Baldwin City, and I am sure Coach Goss is ready for some warmer weather and some Baker softball. Thank you for joining us today, Coach.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
So you're entering year 3 with the Wildcats, and obviously the last couple of years have been kind of ridiculous with the starts and stops, and you even got some athletic facility upgrades in the process. How excited are you, your staff, and players for, knock on wood, hopefully more traditional softball year coming up?
Well, I can tell you're obviously used to interviewing baseball and softball coaches with the knock on wood there. So, yeah, I couldn't even, get a drip in the bucket of how excited we are, honestly, because you look at it and yes, it is year 3, but as you touched on, we haven't had a normal year yet. So in a sense, it's, obviously a very unique situation. Each team has had their own fair share of struggles. No one wants to make it sound like they've had it worse than anyone else, because there's definitely been a lot of hardships for everyone. But yeah, we haven't had a normal year yet. I had a discussion with my AD past in the fall, about I'm looking forward to, all of the things that Baker really is all about. Thankfully, we've got new facilities going. Those are almost done. So we're, getting more normal for sure, but it's a unique thing to think, I have a lot of upperclassmen, but I've got juniors that have never had a traditional college season. And, even my seniors, that were in this program, or transferred, their roles were quite different whenever obviously they were on that, younger end. So they're working hard. They're definitely excited. And just having a normal fall was, enough, I think, to remind everyone of what having that consistency is really like, and how important that is. And, like you said, just exciting.
Hopefully a nice reward for those kids for sticking around is going to be the new facilities. Tell me a little bit more about the upgrades to what was Cavanis Field and what will be for this 2022 season.
Yeah, it is very exciting for, these kids to really kind of see the fruits of those labors that have been going on for a while. And we're getting closer and closer to those being finished. But it's not just upgrades. And I think that's what's even more exciting is that, they actually moved the field. So we've been shifted over to the other side. And I think that, it just goes to show the commitment that the university and the athletic department has to all of their athletic teams. And, that's always a good thing when you see that kind of commitment, and you really see like the beautification and stuff matching what the school has to offer too. I think it's going to be huge for our program. And I know it's going to be nice for us as a staff to maybe not quite have so much field work to do all the time, that we can dedicate other areas, little things like that, people don't see on the behind the scenes, but it really will make a huge, huge difference for us in our time and those things. And again, just having that pride to know, how committed the school and the program is to us as a softball program.
You're not going to miss that time getting on the gator and dragging out divots.
Love that. And now I'm like, I don't know, it's getting to the point now where I'm really, really excited about that turf and not having to, spend 2-3 hours just to practice or draw lines on the field. And yeah, so we're definitely looking forward to that.
So you are a veteran of the Hart Conference, obviously, as a head coach both at Avila and Benedictine. Talk about this conference as a whole and what a juggernaut it is in softball. There are no days off in the Hart.
100% correct. And honestly, it is a conference that truly has so much competition too. So having the quality caliber of teams that we do, top through bottom, I think is a unique thing across the country when you look at even those top teams, it's usually pretty top heavy. And this conference is extremely competitive. And then when you throw in the fact that we play a much more demanding schedule than about anyone at this level, and the volume of games and seeing opponents so many times, it definitely adds a unique thing in those schedules. And like you said, I mean, it's a juggernaut for sure. And you've got to be ready for it. You've got to be ready every single day to bring it. And there is no time to be tired. You got to show up every day to play for sure.
We're talking with Baker University head coach Dana Goss on the Hart Softball Coaches Media Day. Let's turn it to the field now. Your team is going to start with a tournament down in Alabama. What do you hope to see from those early games in your non-conference schedule?
Yeah, and we actually, so probably since you saw ours, we've added a tournament in Allen, Texas in February. So that's coming up pretty shortly. And, both the Allen tournament and that tournament in Alabama, the Mobile tournament, those are invitational tournaments that, are going to have some of the best teams in the country. It's going to have USAO, Oklahoma City, and obviously, we're playing the top tier teams that our sport has to offer. And I really feel like that's just a plus for us. You always want your team to be able to handle whatever adversity and those early challenges to build you up for that conference play when you feel like your real season starts and the preseason's over. And we're going to be challenged for sure. No question about it, with facing really, really tough teams. And for me, that's what we want, right? We've got an extremely competitive conference. And, as they say, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And we definitely are excited about the opportunity to play some really great teams, and excited to be able to get on the road and travel as a team, and hopefully have a chance to, embark on a really great season ahead.
Now, looking through your stats from the past few years, it looks like a Dana Goss-led team, very strong fielding team, very good pitching, very good offensively. Who are you bringing back this year that is exciting for you, either in the circle or out in the field?
Well, as long as we do all those three things, we should be in good shape.
Right. So it's piece of cake, right?
I appreciate that. Gosh, we had 34 games last year, so that's almost half of a season. But when you look at the career numbers that kids were able to post and some of the records, I mean, in the year before when our season got cut short, and you actually look at what these kids were able to do in those, short amount of games, it's pretty great. And then it's also that like unfulfilled feeling, because how much potential, and unfortunately some of those kids, will never get the chance to finish it out. But I think that is exactly what we want to do. We always want to make sure that we're, competitively able to pitch any day out. And we are fortunate that, we did return our pitching staff from a year ago. And so this is, really year 2 and 3 for those kids to be frontline pitchers at the college level, because none of the pitchers that I inherited, and then we had a transfer that came with us who, none of them were frontline pitchers, and all of them had been successful. But it's a different deal, when you're that number one and day in, day out expected to be that consistent rock. So I'm really excited about what they can do, because, I feel like last year, again, they're so talented, but not getting a normal practice schedule, not being able to, find your groove with games and the consistency of how all of that works. Their numbers were still really good, but I know that they weren't satisfied with them, and they probably weren't as good as what, we would have wanted them to be. And then, being able to play defense, that's going to be a huge, huge thing for us. We're talented in the circle. I return, Michaela Aiken, who I look for a really big year from her. Skylar Garrell, same thing. I think those two are kids that can literally be as good as anybody out there. It's just going to be a matter of finding that consistency day in, day out from them. But even as good as they are, these are not girls that are going to average, the Olivia Breeze of 14, 15 strikeouts a game that, did so great here at Baker. We are going to have to play defense. So it's something we work on a lot, and hopefully, when we get on that new field, it'll continue to roll for us there. And offensively, our kids, we do have a pretty good balance, I would say, of having some table setters. We had a transfer come in, Hannah Chambliss, Parker Straight, who is a junior this year in our program, who has just made enormous strides year in, year out. Those are kids that I look for, big things. And then we're going to be anchored at our shortstop and middle infield with Savannah Bray and Mackenzie Musgrove. Those are kids that had really solid years last year. And, Mackenzie's she's been my shortstop the last 4 years. So I'm excited about having her again.
All right, we're going to finish you up with the kind of quickie final 4 questions. You're down at Baldwin, but obviously, anybody around Kansas City, favorite Kansas City barbecue?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So definitely Joe's KC, but I have never done Q39, and I keep hearing I've got to do that. But
Q39
Joe's
is great.
KC is, that's an old faithful, but man, they're all good. I've never had a bad one. I obviously spent time at Rutgers, so Gates Barbecue, all those places. I mean, we enjoy the barbecue in KC, that's for sure.
Now, you can't sleep on, there's some really good food in Baldwin as well. You got a favorite haunt down there?
Well, we really like to frequent the Mexican restaurant El Patron. That's lovingly referred to as El Pat. Our kids know what that's all about, and
that's the conference room, right? Yeah, that's where you guys go to have all your team meetings.
That way, that's how I could get long staff days. Like I promised them, I'll take them to lunch or dinner at El Pat. So
fantastic. What's one thing about Baker that you share with recruits? Obviously, that new field is probably right at the top of the list. But for folks looking at Baker and Baldwin City, what do you share with them?
Well, as far as geographically, Baldwin City is kind of the best of both worlds. You get that small town community and the fun things that come along with just having that, unity and pride and that. And then you've got Lawrence, that sits on one side of you, and Overland Park that sits on the other. So geographically, I think we're golden. We're sitting in a really, really great spot. But as far as Baker goes, the school, we know that, our education is top notch, and we have some of the best professors at what they do, and administrators and those kinds of things. But it truly is a family atmosphere. I know a lot of people say that, and obviously we all believe very much in what we do, but I tell you, everything that this team has been through the last couple of years, that, knitting together in that family unit has really shined through. And while, we might not have gotten to do all the things that we wanted to do and accomplish, in a field setting, I'm so proud of these kids and what we've been able to do the last couple of years with everything we faced. And I think that is something that you can really see how close these kids really are and how genuine those relationships are. I'm very proud of that.
All right, final question, and you can answer this in a couple of words. When I say Hart softball, what words immediately come to mind?
Tough softball, definitely a grind for sure. I think you hit the nail on the head with that. I think anyone who thinks of Hart softball, especially us coaches and players, we know that it's a grind.
Coach Goss, good luck with the new field. Enjoy all that extra time you're not going to be dragging the field this year.
Maybe I'll get to more barbecue places.
Yeah, go visit that gator every once in a while and make sure it's got oil in it. But enjoy that extra time, and good luck on the season this year. And thanks for joining us on the Hart Softball Coaches Media Day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. We appreciate it.